so it's a given that most Pegasi like going fast.
Sounds about right to me, Fluttershy of course being an exception, but apparently they're not just limited to going fast in the air.
Of course not. They've got to be as fast on their hooves as they are in the air.
Yeah, but some Pegasi don't even use their hooves.
No, they do not. The most prominent example is the subject of today's facts.
That's right, we're bringing you a hopefully chicken joke free look at the flyer who can't really fly of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, Scootaloo.
Well, now we're obligated to make one.
Do it and I'll feed you to Cerberus.
I didn't think you meant it literally.
You were warned.
Again, literally. I like that jacket, by the way.
And I'd like to get back to this episode.
Very well, but this isn't over.
Right, duel with pistols at dawn. Let's just get to the first fact, okay?
First fact, she's a Pegasus. Done.
Yay!
Second fact, Tartarus is still right back there.
Well then, smart Alec, you give a fact.
Fine, I will. How about this? She might be as strong as Big Macintosh.
That's highly doubtful. That guy has more power in a single twitch of his tail than a standard Earth pony.
Yeah, but this isn't his episode, so we can exaggerate a bit with our comparisons. Let's just look at what we know. In this scene here in the Cutie Pox, Scootaloo bucks a bowling ball hard enough to make it bounce around the bowling alley like a rubber ball, and her back legs are still healthy enough to help her run away afterwards. Keep in mind, this is a bowling ball.
Alright, I admit, that is impressive. Know what else is impressive?
I'd hazard a guess, but kids might be watching this, so I'll just say, what?
That bowling ball acting like a pinball, and yet there are 0 casualties.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. How could that happen? Seems like a lot of bull to me.
I can't believe you did that. Spare me any more terrible puns.
Well, that's your opinion. Okay, we are not doing this again. Let's move on before I have to rename this episode to Cutie Mark Laboratories Pun-Off.
Something tells me this isn't the end. Not by a long shot.
Probably not. So, now we know one fact, but we've still got a few to go. Next on the list. Did you know that her wings have access to invisibility cloak?
Humans have yet to access that technology. How did her wings obtain such a device?
Through the magic of limited animation. In 4 episodes so far, we've seen her wings disappear at least once. Stairmaster, The Showstoppers, One Bad Apple, and Sleepless in Ponyville.
4 separate times? That's a bit much for a young Pegasus.
Well, it's Scootaloo. I don't think she'd notice if her wings are there or not. Hi-yo!
Ow, just ow. And you fed me to Cerberus for my chicken joke.
I'm not happy with myself either.
Go to the corner and think about what you've done.
Only after this video. I don't trust you to finish it up properly.
Fine, but only because it needs to be done.
Good. Now, next fact. You want to do this one?
Sure, why not? Our little Scootaloo may not be the best singer in Equestria, but barring Pinkie Pie and Rarity, she's the first pony to take the spot of lead vocals.
This is, of course, only if you are like me and a lot of other people in believing Rarity's Art of the Dress counts as one song rather than 2 with the reprise as its own song, since the rest of the main 6 only joined in the lead for the reprise.
And of course, Pinkie gets the gold simply because the mare thrives on singing, almost as much as parties.
Yeah, that's kind of an unfair advantage, like putting Noah Webster in a 3rd grade spelling bee.
Despite the handicap, should I find it sad that Scootaloo got a bronze medal in singing despite her tone deafness? Or should we be lucky that the handicap is there so she doesn't get the gold?
Well, considering we've got people like Justin Bieber where they are today.
It could be worse. Rebecca Black could have gotten a record deal.
I'd rather play part-time job again.
And I would rather deal with Rakanoth on Inferno Master 5.
Hey, pony references only. We've got a strict fan base to appeal to here.
You don't know. Some people could get it, and I'm appeasing to that portion of the fan base.
Well, that's all well and good, but now how about appeasing me and getting to the next fact?
You mean despite the fact Sleepless in Ponyville approved of Scootaloo, that she's still the least loved out of the main 10 characters?
10?
The main 6, Spike, and the Cutie Mark Crusaders.
Oh, nobody remembers Spike, but go on.
I remember the hero of the Crystal Empire, and the fact that he, along with Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and the Elements of Harmony, all had episodes focused on them before Scootaloo got her own focus episode. Halfway through Season 3, no less.
Well, that makes sense when you sort of think about it. The fandom's been kind of freaking out over how Scootaloo has no backstory, so maybe the people behind the show just wanted to be a tease for a while. That, or they just don't like her.
I'm gonna flip a coin to see which one I lean towards. It landed on its edge.
Well, I already know my opinion. Scoot should have gotten her episode long before that, or at least some decent characterization. I mean, it took until season 4 just to establish that she isn't homeless.
She's not homeless?
Right, you're not caught up on the series yet. No, she's not homeless, and yes, the fanfic writers have already cried another Great Lake.
As if Michigan hasn't had enough of those. But enough about how the camera is out of focus on Scoots. We have any more facts on our favorite speed demon?
As a matter of fact, yes, we know her Cutie Mark.
How is that possible? As far as I know, as long as the show goes on, none of the Crusaders are going to be getting their cutie marks. Unless you cracked into Hasbro's records.
I did, but that was for something else and I'm not allowed to discuss it publicly. Actually, in promotional material for My Little Pony, there was a piece of artwork featuring the 3 Crusaders as adults, and they all have their cutie marks. Apple Bloom has an apple cut in half, makes sense. Sweetie Belle has some sort of a heart, also makes sense.
Calm down there, guy. We're here for Scootaloo, not her friends.
I'm getting to that. What I'm pointing out here is that Scootaloo's cutie mark is a butterfly. Does not make sense.
A butterfly. As in, the same butterflies on Fluttershy's hindquarter?
Well, Scootaloo only has one big one and 2 really small ones, and they're orange and purple, but yes, butterflies.
So, she's probably going to be an animal caretaker of some sort in the future, and not a Wonderbolt like her idol.
Actually, given we've seen her special talent is likely to be dancing, because let's be honest, any Pegasus could ride a scooter that fast by flapping their wings, it's likely that dancing is her special talent, and her cutie mark represents her being graceful as a butterfly or something of the sort.
Or wait, she could be a boxer. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
She'll be the next Muhammad Ali Corn.
No. Just no. Bad boss. Bad scientist. So, unless we're gonna have a repeat of the many puns, that's all the time we have for this session.
That's right, I think we've learned a lot about Scootaloo today. From her power level to animation glitches to not enough writers at DHX caring about her, I'd like to think we've educated some people.
Agreed. I've been Courier Dan.
And I've been RLYoshi.
And he owes me a new jacket.
No, she's not homeless, and yes, the fanfic writers have already cried another Great Lake.
As if Michigan hasn't had enough of those. But enough to talk. Bleh.
I know how I feel.
Yeah. As if Michigan hasn't had enough of those.